Next up, we're going to put in checkboxes. But before we put in checkboxes, I want to show you how we can actually clean up this frame area here, these text fields, if you will, that we just created. And when I say clean them up, make sure that they're distributed evenly. So let's say, for example, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. All right. And as you can see, the first field kind of aligns with the line, but this one down here doesn't, and this is a little bit off. It's a little bit off. So what we're going to do is I'm going to nudge this down, all right, so that it kind of aligns with the line. All right, and then I'm going to select all three of these. All right, and then I'm going to go to, I'm going to use the align option, and then make sure where it says align to, make sure it's aligned to selection. All right, and then I'm going to click on this button right here. It says distribute spacing. Click on this, and as you can see, what it does, it just distributes them evenly. So that's a good little trick to know when you're putting fields in there. If you just want to make things look right, you can do that. All right, so we have them all aligned. Now, if you remember, well, I'm going to select each one individually, and I'm going to give them a unique name. So let's say, for example, I click on this one. I'm going to open up my FormFields tab, if you will, and we know that all says text field 9. Let's just put in their name. All right, and then we're going to come here, and we're going to put in address for the name. Okay, and then of course for this one here, we're going to put in email. All right. So now they have their unique names because they really should all have their own names so that they will all behave differently. So we have email here. All right, we have address here, and we have name here. All right, great. All right, now let's talk about checkboxes. Now, what checkboxes are basically, you can have as many checkboxes, as needed. Okay, so first thing you need to do is create a frame for it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create, and in this particular instance, I don't have to, but I'm going to make it a graphic frame. All right, and I'll make it a perfect square. So I'm just going to put my finger on the Shift key and just open that up. All right, and I have it aligned to the margin right there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, bring it down. Okay, and then again, so I have these three frames that are going they will be check boxes. All right, so what I can do here is I'm going to click on this. All right, which says type. I'll say I want to make that a checkbox, and you can see there's like a little check graphic right there. All right, and it says checkbox 1. All right, I'm going to click on this one here and make that a checkbox. Okay, and you can see this one says checkbox 2. All right, come here, and I'll click on this and make this a checkbox. And you can see it has checkbox 3. And again, we can name them when you're doing what they call a tabbing order, you may want to name them, give them specific names. All right, so you'll know exactly which ones you're dealing with. For example, let's do that right now. We'll select the first one, and we'll call that one, instead of just saying checkbox 1, we'll just call it high school. Oh, what I spell? Okay, here we go, school. All right, then we'll come over here. All right, and we can make that one college. All right, then we come here, and we can make that one grad school. Very good. All right, so we have grad school, we've got college, and we've got high school. All right, so let's just preview this, and let's just see how that works. And remember, when you preview it, you want to export it out, all right, as an Adobe PDF interactive. All right, interactive, that's the key. So we'll say save, okay? And then we can keep these defaults right here. What we'll do is we'll say view after exporting. Again, that's just courtesy, so that it just comes up after it gets finished exporting. So now we have our text fields in place, all right, and then we have our checkboxes. And again, with a checkbox, you can check as many items as you want. All right, so that this way you can you have to let people know how many, if you completed high school, if you completed college, and if you completed grad school. So in other words, your checkboxes says you can check as many items as you can. So next up, all right, we're going to talk about radio buttons and the difference between a radio button and a checkbox. Next up, we're going to talk about working with radio buttons. But before we do that, I want to show you a little trick. Um, right now, we have these checkboxes in position. Now, let's just say something happens and the client says, you know what, I want to add another line. So we just put our cursor here, we put in return. But if you notice, all the content shifted down, but the actual checkboxes remain where they were. Well, I'm going to show you a little trick as to what you can do to make sure that everything moves when it should move. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this this checkbox right here, I'm going to cut it, and then let's say, for example, I'm going to paste it right here so that it's an anchored object, inline anchored object with the text. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this one right here, the college. I'm going to cut that out. All right, I'm going to put it right next to, all right, the high school, and I'm going to do the same thing with the grad school. I'm going to cut it out, all right, and then using the type tool, I'm going to paste it so I have all three of them, all ducks in a row, if you will. So now, next up, with the selection tool, I'm going to click on the first one, all right, and it is the high school. We can see it right there. I'm going to anchor objects, go to options, and then I'm going to say custom. And if you notice, it kind of flew all the way out to the side. That's great. I'm going to come over here, same thing. I'm going to anchor objects, options, go over here to where it says inline, make that custom, flew out over there, very good. And last but not least, I'm going to go over here, click on that one, anchored objects, options, and I'll say custom. Now they're all out on the side. Well, what's the significance of that? Well, watch this. Now I can grab this one, which is, as you can see, it says grad school. I pull that down and I put that over here. Then I'll pull college. We see that right there. I'm going to put that over here. And then I'm going to take high school and I'll put that over here. All right. So now I have them all lined up right there. So again, what's the significance? Watch this. If I were to put my cursor here and I said, hey, you know what? I want to add another line above, did you receive a degree? So I hit the return key and look, everything moves together as one. So that's something else you can do. You can actually put in inline anchored objects so that this way, if the form is modified, as these objects are now anchored inside the main frame, if you will, it will move with the content.